London, here we come.
The scale of this movie is bigger than a lot of the films that I'm used to, and it's really incredible to look around at these like enormous sets, and the locations are just fantastic.
The fun thing about Cruella is the sheer number of locations for such a large studio film. We've had 45 different locations, and I think we shot on location for nearly 40 days.
It's had a vast scope for us, the amount of sets, the scale of sets.
So we've got 96 official dress sets. That volume is, like, unheard of.
I think it's one of the most exquisite production designs I've ever worked on. The level of artistry that's gone into the creation of this world is absolutely remarkable.
One of the great joys of shooting in London, particularly a film that is set in London, is to take advantage of all the great settings that London has to offer. From the sort of back streets of London to huge mansions and the more aristocratic, fashionable places in London. All of those are essential to creating the world of Cruella and to tell the story.
It's such an embarrassment of riches in London. I just loved having that texture of outside and the depth of it and really being able to see the London architecture. So I wanted to be outside as much as we could.
We were looking within the London sort of region for the many locations. Obviously, we're very lucky in this country, and especially around London, to have some fabulous stately homes. One of those is Englefield House, which we used for Hell Hall. In central London, we found some beautiful Georgian houses or period houses in Westminster for our House of Baroness exterior. We have filmed quite a lot in Greenwich at the Naval College. It's these amazing, beautiful grand buildings. It's an incredibly versatile site. We've used it for several red carpets, so we've used it for some parks. Quite quintessentially London, but again, a little bit different, for example, to where we did our vintage store, which was in Notting Hill, which is a little bit edgier, which is why we put that scene there, because she's finding the punk roots that we then later explore.
We had a really short window to dress that street.
Day and a half.
Yeah, a day and a half to do Portobello Road. I mean, there were people everywhere. We were changing awnings and signage and turning cafes into hardware stores. Every single thing got changed.
It was really exciting to me being able to work in those spaces, in the actual locations that we're setting the film. In fact, I think the first shot we did was Horace and Jasper and Estella running out of Liberties and jumping on a bus going down the street with 1970s traffic and a camera chasing them. It was a great way to sort of kick off the show.
Liberty's such a beautiful old building, and they've kept it so wonderfully. From a personal point of view, it's one of my favourite places. And the Baroness is so rude about it. God, it's all so depressing. I think one of the most exciting moments was we filmed, obviously, outside Liberty's, but then the production recreated the interior at the studio, and it was absolutely gobsmacking.
It was spectacular. The most iconic department store in London, and here we are, not in it, yet in it.
There was no way we could go into Liberties and strip out their stock, and it just wasn't going to happen. So we had it 3D scanned, and then we had the whole thing made. So you're absolutely recognisably in Liberty, and we've copied it very faithfully.
We made all the scarves, we made the bags, we made all the tables, the jewellery cases, all to fit exactly the space. This is our pack and wrap counter, all the working drawers, and they've got period staplers in, and then you've got all the Liberties bags, which our graphics department have made, Liberties boxes, little hooks with all the swing tags on.
I don't even know how much you're gonna see on camera, which is devastating because it's so much detail. It was just really special.
I've actually spent quite a lot of time on the sets just because I wanted to look at all the props, literally every detail. And my warehouse, I just wanted to live in it. It was so beautiful. I mean, on everything, the House of Baroness is written on my notepaper, on my cards. Things that the audience will never see are there for us as actors.
In that set, we pretty much made everything. The couture tables where they cut, the designers' tables that were made, the cases that their pencils came in. Every single thing was bespoke to that warehouse.
It's